What is going on, guys? TKD 1, 2, 3 with you, and today we're talking about another album this week. This is gonna be a little bit smaller. It's one of those nice, full-on album we did with Trip, and a nice short EP that we're doing right now. And this one is by a guy that I know kind of in my life, whatever, and I know more closely his younger brother and everything. And I saw he was coming out with an album, so I'm like, so I was like, you know what? Let me just review it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just give my thoughts on it. I'm very interested. I'm very curious at his ability to do music and everything. So I decided, you know what? Let's review a little bit of a shorter EP this week, and let's add this onto the docket. So without further ado, let's review Doni's Abstract Matter. Now, one of the main things that I found a little bit hard to do with this, album review is really separate the actual relationship I have with him versus the actual album, right? And making sure that I'm not having a bias in that sort of standards. And I did, for the most part, have a nice bias towards it. Like, I didn't want it to, kind of interplay in my thoughts and opinions on the overall album and everything. But overall, I feel like even if I had that bias, it would, have no effect on my actual opinions and thoughts on this album and project, because it's really good. Obviously, this is called Abstract Matter, and you can see it over here in the artwork and everything, how it's very much of a, just mathematical things over that. There's a lot of things that are just abstract, right? And even when you boil it down from a song by song basis to even the instrumentals, what I would say mainly is really where the abstractness comes from. Like, there is a lot of abstract things in this, you know what I'm saying? And that sounds very, very cliche, very, whatever, but I feel that if you listen to it, you will understand where I'm coming from that. Where, there are a lot of interesting instrumentals, they sound really unique, they sound very different, and also, what you find a lot of times with someone that, is on, their first few, albums or EPs, whatever, you kind of, hear them like a, not irregular, but like a certain tone or like a certain style, and they kind of let that flow into every single, track they make on the project. As opposed to this one, I feel like each one definitely stands on its own. I feel like each one definitely does have its own unique type of sound to it, and that's very, very nice to hear from someone that, is just starting up or is, just having his first few projects out there in the wild. And also, a lot of times when you hear of, just a person with his first few projects and everything, they tend to stay on the safe side of things, where they tend to do kind of the regular cliche song or the regular just things that don't really attach to the person, as opposed to here with Doni. He gets very, very personal in this album. He gets very, very in-depth in this thing, and it is something that is worth, just definitely giving a nice pound of actual, like giving a nice credence to, because it's not often that we hear someone that, on his first, EP or album, whatever, or one of the first ones, he is so personal in this thing, right? And it's typical to hear that in a full-size album layered on the road, or typical to hear that, tour, when he garners, just more of a larger audience and stuff like that. But here with this one, where, it is one of his first ones, he's going super, super personal, super in-depth, and really does show the overall craftsmanship to each track. And I totally forgot to talk about the logistics of this album. I usually talk about it at the beginning of the review, but it is 9 songs and 25 minutes long, so definitely a nice regular size, EP. I won't say it's the longest in the world, but overall it's very, very nice. And it's a very nice also amount of time to really kind of feel out the different songs and really feel out what type of artist this man is. So definitely do feel like the length there is a great advantage this thing has. And overall, what I will kind of begin to end my whole thing on here is that a lot of times you hear people that they handle their mixtapes, right? I've had people hand me their mixtapes. I've had people email me to do reviews or something like that, and like when you listen through them, a lot of times it's a very, very much of a gamble, right? Where you have someone that maybe has their expertise only on like iMusic, and they have a really crappy mic, you know what I'm saying? And like that just happens a lot, right? Where it happens where you have someone that is up and coming, but they don't have a lot of the resources, or they don't have the lot of, just the overall kind of quality that comes with a well-established artist, right? But you have here, this one is, kind of the antithesis of that, where he does have the chops to do this, where like he does sound really, really good. He does have really good tracks on this thing, and he does have that quality aspect that a lot of new people coming up don't, and it's not really their fault, just because they don't have access to those resources and things like that. So I feel like definitely here he is 100%, with it 100%. Really, you can tell that he takes care of each track. He really does pay attention to everything. He really does give a lot of detail and give a lot of just overall care to these tracks, and definitely do appreciate that coming from Doni and everything like that. And overall, I would say definitely 100% stream this wherever you can find it. It's on Spotify, Apple Music as well. Definitely go check out those links over. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my review of Abstract Matter by Doni. If you enjoyed, make sure you like, subscribe, and share them below. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.